ayahuasca and vomit, something that is forever linked, but also vomiting, which is such an unpleasant thing and nobody really wants to do. But what are the benefits of it? And also, how much will you vomit? And we'll cover that topic here in this video. Ayahuasca is a purging medicine. And the physical effects of ayahuasca is that in the high majority of the cases, it will induce vomiting and or diarrhea. But it's not just the physical cleanse, it's also an energetic and spiritual healing that is happening at the same time. If you think about it, life isn't that difficult. Do the things that are good for you, don't do the things which are bad for you. You even know what is good for you and what's not good for you. But for whatever reason, there's also parts in you that are attracted to those low vibrational activities. And the more you are cleaning those parts inside of you, the more energy is liberated for you to redecide wherever you want to focus your energy, your thoughts, your habits on. Every plant medicine has their way of teaching. And for example, on the mushrooms, also a beautiful medicine, but it can be that you are sometimes stuck in a certain thought loop. And with ayahuasca, many times also when you are in that loop, the purging can ground you. You can even pay attention to what makes you vomit. And even in that moment of vomiting, you'll feel like all the repressed emotions, the things that you've been holding on to, the burden, the emotional baggage, all that kind of stuff, being able to leave you as well. And the participant in the ceremony that I just mentioned, she felt like she was holding on to so much of her stuff, but while having the bucket there and just like being in her own pain. And then once that release came through the vomit, she felt so much lighter, so much cleared. And I think it's important that when we are going on this healing journey to embrace all aspects of it, right? Because I can say like, yeah, I want to feel the joy, the love, the peace, the acceptance, those amazing feelings, but it has a price. And one of the prices through ayahuasca, it takes a toll on the body. It doesn't taste as well. There is that purging component. There is that vomiting involved. But in reality, if your intention is high and the level of healing that is possible through it, all of those are more minor inconveniences. Obviously, if you're just like, hey, I want to try it out, then the fact that you're going to vomit is going to stop you from drinking ayahuasca. But I think it's important to, again, embrace the full experience and say like, hey, if this is now what it is and I'm able to also let go of all of the stuff that I'm carrying, that's a beautiful part of healing, even though if it's not really comfortable or not something that we are looking forward to. Then a couple of tangible tips for vomiting in your ayahuasca ceremony. So you don't want to vomit in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the ceremony. What you can do is after you drink the ayahuasca is to take a sip of water and rinse your mouth out. Also, when you feel the taste of the ayahuasca, you can spit in the bucket. That can help you by not inducing the vomiting sooner. Also, sometimes the ego's last line of defense, in a way, is that when you drink it, that it's like, oh, I want to get rid of it as soon as possible. So what you can do in that sense is actually to breathe deeply and actually ask the ayahuasca to stay in and tell your spirit, yes, I do want to receive this medicine. Also, it helps if you are more still, because if you move a lot, then obviously it's going to be harder to keep in the ayahuasca. If after 1.5 to 2 hours of the experience, you still haven't vomited and you also don't feel the effects of the ayahuasca, then it's good to stand up, walk around a bit to activate the blood flow, activate your body, and that can then activate the ayahuasca as well. What you don't want to do, even if you feel a level of nausea or whatever it is, to induce the vomiting by, sticking your finger into your mouth or whatever it is, like you want to give it the time it needs to be able to leave your body as well. In a way, the ayahuasca is doing a scan of your body, of your emotions, of your consciousness, and is collecting all of the garbage. And you don't want to cut that process prematurely because of a physical discomfort that you might be feeling. Also, you might be asking, but I don't have my phone with me. I don't have my watch. When do I know when 20 to 30 minutes pass? When do I know when 1.5 to 2 hours pass? So I would say the 20 to 30 minutes is usually you want to stop the first and second urge of vomiting. Again, through the deep breathing, through asking the ayahuasca to stay in. Also, it's the way that we do the ceremony is usually when the second or third instrument is played is also then when you can more vomit. That's when the time-wise it has passed. And I guess the 1.5 to 2 hours you will know because most other people have already vomited at that point, and maybe even like having visible effects of the ayahuasca, and you feel still it's more stagnant, it's a sign that it's a good time to stand up and walk around a bit. Also, a pro tip for when you vomit is actually to open your mouth as wide as possible, because then more is coming through your mouth and less through the nose, and that way it's more pleasant. You also want to have toilet paper on you, because in that moment you are in a very sensitive state, and we don't want to bring toilet paper to the participants in that moment because it can disrupt them to whatever process they're in. It's also good to rinse out your mouth after vomiting. And also, usually the ayahuasca increases after you have vomited. It can also be that you haven't vomited and the ayahuasca is keep on getting stronger and stronger. In that moment, it's when you vomit, it can actually sometimes go down as well. So there's no rule like this is how it is, but the majority of the cases, once you vomit, your ayahuasca ceremony will intensify. Also, some people imagine that when you drink ayahuasca, you're gonna vomit the whole night. So the question is, how much will you vomit? And I would say that if you drink, for every cup of ayahuasca you drink, you will most likely vomit once, maybe two, rarely 3 times, but also a bit depending on how clean your body is and how much you have to purge emotionally as well. Also remember that the ayahuasca is digested in the stomach, so when you drink it, you actually want to remain seated until you vomit, so your digestion doesn't slow down. And then part of the ayahuasca preparation is to not eat lactose, because if you would eat lactose, so cheese, milk, all that kind of stuff, you're gonna vomit that much more. So definitely follow that recommendation. It can also be that you hold ayahuasca for an extended period of time in the stomach, that it's digested, and it leaves the other way. And so it does mean that you always have to vomit. I would say probably in 80% of the cases, maybe in 5% of the cases you don't vomit and you don't have diarrhea. But again, that's more of an exception, because ayahuasca is a purging medicine. There's also a saying that if you don't vomit and if you don't purge, then the ayahuasca is taking roots within you, within your spirit as well. So it doesn't have to happen. There's no absolute rules with ayahuasca, but just a general observation. Also, vomiting is something that is so foreign to us and something that we associate with something very negative and something that we don't want. But if you think about it, all mammals, it's a very natural response to vomit, to detoxify the body. I think the only mammals who don't vomit are actually horses. And a lot of the bases of the indigenous medicines are also around purging, not just ayahuasca, but different purgatives that they take that induce vomiting, that induce diarrhea, to let go of all of the clogged up inflammation and stuff in our intestines. And if you think about how much bad stuff we put into our body, how many times we clean it, it's not really in proportion. And by cleaning the physical body, then you're going to be able to absorb minerals in your food better as well. So it's actually something very healthy and very beneficial. But through the associations and through the way that we live in Western society, it just has a very negative connotation. Also, through the purging aspect, the vomiting and or diarrhea, you are going to let go of more liquids than you take in. It's even pretty interesting that you take this little cup of ayahuasca and then after you vomit so much and all this stuff that it starts in your body. So that means that you will be dehydrated to a level. So after the ceremony is over, it's very important that you take some electrolytes, that you also replenish your body as well, to eat good food. And also a very important recommendation is to not do combo after ayahuasca, because you already dehydrated through the ayahuasca, and then you don't want to put that additional level of stress on your physical body with a combo after an ayahuasca ceremony. It's somewhat okay to do it before, but it's very important to look at the health condition at each participant, if they're able to maintain and how much medicines one can mix together. We prefer to mix as little medicines as possible. And again, a very, very high level recommendation, don't do combo after ayahuasca. If you do it in the morning and ayahuasca at night, it can be okay, depending also on the physical strength of your body. But be mindful that through the ayahuasca, there's a level of dehydration, and it's important to put those nutrients back into your body. So all in all, I can say I have vomited so much over the last years, and I can really say that there's like really a magic around the purge and the ayahuasca, and I think it's a huge part about being able to let go of all the stuff that we carry that doesn't serve us anymore, to let go of the old, to welcome the new. There's so much more than just a physical, and I think it's personally even a bit sad that there's such a big deal made out of it. Like, oh, I'm gonna vomit when I drink ayahuasca. It's like, yeah, I guess so, but there's like so many positive things that come through it that for me it's a minor inconvenience, and I even know the physical and also spiritual and energetic benefits through it. So yeah, my recommendation is be open for all aspects of the ceremony, to approach it with a level of I'm here and I'm open to what's coming my way. And thank you very much for watching this video. If you have some questions, put them in the comment sections, like this video, share it with your friends who might be interested in ayahuasca as well. And I'll see you in the next video.